Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to prevent thinning of our locks and how to promote thickness. But let me start with a disclaimer. We need to understand that some of us are not born with thick hair, okay? Genetically, someone like myself, I am born with thin hair, low density hair. So we need to put that in mind. I'm not expecting, you shouldn't expect, and neither should I expect a magic formula to make our hair as thick as someone who is naturally born with such features, okay? But today we're going to be talking about a situation whereby our thin hair is about to detach from the roots, okay? And what could be causing that? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Okay, to avoid thinning of locks, do not twist too often. Make sure you have enough growth, about let's say 3 to 4 inches, before you consider a retwist. Wait for 2 to 3 months. This would vary based on how much growth you get during that period. How do you survive the waiting stage? Well, separate the roots of the locks during and after washing, and while it's wet or damp. That's very important, so they don't merge together. Do not attempt to separate when the locks are dry. But my hair looks rough. Well, what is your definition of rough? Style your hair in ways you would like. Make use of caps, head bands, wigs, head wraps, which is my favorite. Use edge control if you desire to, but in moderation. Number 2, do not overdo it by waiting too long. I know it sounds contradictory. Once the locks start to separate from the base or root, then you probably want to retwist that lock. Balance is key. Use your discretion. Number 3, do it yourself. Learn to retwist your hair yourself. Several YouTube videos can show you how to do this yourself. Check online. When you go to a stylist, their mission is to make sure your hair appears neat and slim for the gods. No single hair strand escapes those beautiful hands of theirs. They also make it too tight because they can't feel what you're feeling. If you must go to a stylist, let it be on special occasion or once a year. Personally, I don't visit one because one visit can cause a lot of damage for me. Number 4, when retwisting, do not use too much gel. A little quantity goes a long way. If you use too much, they can lead to further hair thinning and hair loss. 5, wash your hair often to remove debris, dirt, dust, old gel from it, because these things can weigh down your hair, especially when gel gathers dust. Depending on your daily activities, wash your locks once a week or bi-weekly, or wash once a month. Use your discretion. 6, condition your locks with care, or do not condition at all. Conditioning can be your enemy. I would suggest you stick with a leave-in spray, leave-in conditioner. Personally, I do not condition my hair except when I'm going to swim to protect my hair from chlorine. I use a clear spray like this one. It's called All-See, right? It's called All-See. That's what I use. It sprays clear, right? It sprays clear, right? If you use the ones that are creamy, they're about to cause issues for your locks, right? I'll talk about that in another video, in a separate video. Number 7, this is so important. Check if you have an underlying medical condition. Check in with your doctor, because there may be a bigger issue from within. Medical issues can lead to your hair thinning. Your hair thinning is just a visible symptom of what is happening from within. It's telling you something is not right. Using myself as an example, I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, more like hormonal imbalance. Due to this condition, I experience hair loss, which later leads to alopecia areata. If you can do something about your medical condition, the earlier you get to work, the better for you. In the future, I'll be talking about how to how to reduce or get rid of the symptoms of PCOS. Okay, alrighty. Now let's move on. Let's talk about tips on how to promote thickness. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, someone like myself with thin hair, are not born with high, or what should I call it, high density hair. I have very low density hair. I have very thin hair. Okay, these are supposed to be traditional locks, but they look like sister locks, right? That's how I'm born. That's my natural feature. To make it worse, I now have PCOS, which makes it look even thinner than it should. Okay, the only time my hair grew thick was while I was pregnant. Can you see that part? While I was pregnant, it grew thick. I was pregnant with my third child, and oh boy, my hair actually became a little bit thicker. But naturally, this is how my hair looks. It is pretty thin. I don't expect any magic. However, again, like I said at the beginning, we want to focus on we want to make sure that the hair doesn't detach from the roots. So how do we make sure that happens? We already spoke about how to prevent thinning. Now let's talk about tips on how to promote thickness of the hair. Okay, 1, create an oil mixture that would promote thickness. In quote, a good example of an oil that promotes thickness is Jamaican black castor oil. Add it sparingly because it is so thick, especially for people that have low density hair like mine. If you have thin, fine hair like me, add very little. Else, if you had too much, it will weigh down your hair, which would cause more thinning. Okay, it will lead to more thinning. I'll be discussing about how to create your oil mixture in the future. 2, I would suggest that you take supplements that contain biotin and zinc. For my PCOS ladies or people that are experiencing hair loss generally, you may want to consider looking at a video I made about supplements that you should be taking to prevent hair loss. It's going to be in the description down below. Even if you don't have PCOS, you can actually benefit from watching it. Number 3, you may not like this advice, but I have to state it. Combine the locks. Yes, combine the locks. I had to combine some of mine where they were so thin and hanging on for their lives. I had to combine them, and it made my life so much easier.
Okay, I thought to give more bonus tips, and they are so important. I did place my hair in a bun, part of my hair in a bun while shooting this video, but I have to tell you, try to let your hair breathe by not placing it in a bun. Sometimes those rubbers, those ribbons can actually cause more harm than good. I usually place my hair up, halfway up and the rest down when I'm going out. Or for instance, I needed to shoot this video and I didn't want my hair all over the place. That was why I did that. Most of the time, my hair is usually down, especially when I'm not going anywhere. So please keep that in mind, which leads me to the next tip. Try not to style your hair too often, even if you are doing it yourself. Sometimes these things cause even more strain on the lock strands. So try not to style too often. Another tip is watch what you use to wash your hair. Sometimes what we use can actually cause drying, like it can make our locks dry, which causes breakage. So you don't want to overuse the clarifying shampoo. You also want to use moisturizing shampoo. Another tip is moisturize your hair, because our hair gets dry easily. So remember to spray your hair with maybe distilled water, rose water, aloe vera juice. Spray your hair often, okay? And then seal in the moisture with oil, okay? Because the hair wouldn't, the water wouldn't retain, your locks wouldn't retain the water. It needs a kind of aid to retain the water. In this case, oil is what is going to help you retain that moisture.
In summary, check what you're doing, stop whatever it is that may be causing thinning. If you have a medical condition, quickly treat yourself. Make sure your scalp is always clean. I didn't mention this. Eat healthy meals and exercise often to promote circulation. I bet there are more tips that you can share. Please feel free to comment down below. Let's share these tips. Let's share these ideas. If you have any questions, please write them in the comment section and I'll try my best to answer them as soon as I possibly can. Don't forget to share this video, like and subscribe for more lock tips. Oh, I will be 3 years locked by September 20. I will create a video about my 3-year lock anniversary and my journey so far. What I have been doing, my routine, plus loads and loads of pics. I'm not sure when I'll release this, but I will get to it one of these days. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.